Howdy, all you delicious people. I'm here today to review Wrestlepalooza. If you guys don't see me in a day, in a couple of days, I don't know how many days, but if you guys don't see me, it's because I'm reorganizing the way in which that I'm doing these YouTube videos and working out because I am very spent. I have been going on to probably been running on E for far too long here. So because I simultaneously been doing videos and working out on the same days. I never thought I was going to do that, but here is where I am. So I really need to just kind of push off, and that is where I'm at. So with that said, let's go on and let's talk about Wrestlepalooza. So we have to realize that Wrestlepalooza is under the ESPN or ESPN Plus banner, whatever the heck that is. I don't know. I don't bother to go into the ESPN or ESPN Plus. I freaking VPN this mother and watch it on Netflix. So for those of you that immediately gave up on watching these PLEs, or just like, well, hey, I'll just watch it after the fact on YouTube and find out all the results, or I'll just go into any social medias that WWE has and find out exactly who all won, because why spend $30 on ESPN Plus when there are a billion different avenues that you can go on and find the results of the PLE, and the PLE won't really matter. But I'm gonna say, hey guys, don't give up. VPN this mother and watch it on Netflix. And the VPN for me costs nothing. So, like, you all can watch PLEs if you have a Netflix subscription. So I hope people go on and they try that, so that way they can continue to watch this stuff. So that way they can watch it along as I am. So, anyways, let's go and let's talk about this PLE. So I feel that this PLE was only important for certain matches, but not all of them. Uh, there were to be some standout people within these matches, and there were also like certain times where you were obviously thinking that these matches were going to go very specific ways. So like it kind of was to be like, well, I already know who's going to win this matchup. It's not going to be a surprise. So really, I guess I have to just kind of enjoy the matchup for what it is. And luckily, I did enjoy most of these matches. So let's go on and let's talk about the Cena Brock match. Of course, Cena had a really good entrance. We have him with just a load of kids, and he comes out, and the kids go one way, the kids go another, and then Cena runs out to face off against Lesnar. I believe Brock is to supposedly have a 1 year deal going on. So in my mind, I'm just like, well, Brock is to have gone on and is to still have a partnership with Paul Heyman. So maybe they're going to go on and have somehow like us question whether Brock is going to end up with the Vision or any number of things, and they can kind of really play into that and have fun with it. But I think if anything, and this is just to be speculation to what I was thinking in this match, I felt that Brock had a lot more momentum, I feel, than Cena does. Cena has only so many limited dates left, and I feel that, like, Brock just had just something that I was like, So, within this matchup, we have a number of finishers that are going on, one right after the other, after the other, after the other, after the other. For a Brock matchup, this match was decent. There really isn't a whole lot of moves, if you really count all of them, going on in this entire matchup, in my opinion. Um, but I also wasn't expecting Cena to go and do what he's been doing with like a Sami Zayn or a Logan Paul and do all these kind of wild and crazy moves and whatever with Brock, because freaking with Brock it's just like German, 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 German a billion times, and then he'll do some F5s and then call it a day. Like Brock really doesn't have much of a move set anymore because he really doesn't need one. But anyways, spoilers. So we go on to a number of finishers. Cena continues to hit a lot of AAs, and we're thinking, oh, Cena's going to win this. No. Uh, Brock turns around and starts going through a number of F5s, even to a point where eventually, by the end of the match, he F5s a referee, which I wasn't expecting. But it seems that Brock is going into the pattern of F5ing a lot of people. He F5 Corey Graves because he almost was going to F5 Michael Cole. And then Corey Graves runs in the ring. Hey, stop! Don't do it! And then Brock F5s Corey Graves. So I guess write him off telly. I guess because we don't know what the heck they're doing with the announcers these days. Like Pat McAfee shows up, and I'm just like, okay, are they going to use him? Or are they just using him for a couple matches and then he leaves? What are they doing with him? I could really care either or of Pat coming back and being a consistent commentator, or I can see him not come back again and be fine with that because realistically, I'm like, there's so many freaking announcers that have more experience in the wrestling world than Pat does. But Pat is fun to also hear him on commentary. So for me to say any detriment to Pat, really, it's also just because I haven't listened to him as long as so many other announcers. I honestly don't really like Corey Graves either. Because there was a lot of times when Corey was with Byron Saxton, and that was the worst announcing team I think ever in WWE. Just because the two of them were just bickering like old biddies. It freaking sucked. But anyways, uh, going in, yeah. So Brock wins this match. He F5 Cena. All the little chicklets, all the little kids, they all cried, and I was like, oh no, these kids. What about those kids? I felt so bad for them. But sorry your hero lost. Sadly enough. So we then go on to uh next matchup. So let's go on and let's talk about the tag matchup that didn't have titles on the line because we still don't have any tag team titles in the PLE whatsoever. In this one, or we have Tiffany Stratton that's in the crowd and she's waving her title as if it matters because she's not on this PLE and she's not defending it. So who cares? Because she's never going to win this belt anyways. She's never going to lose this belt anyways. It's just going to continue to be on her, and like, man, I also freaking I hate a PLE that also doesn't have Rhea Ripley on it. I like Rhea, and when a PLE doesn't have Rhea Ripley, I'm like, well, this is not going to be as good as a PLE as if Rhea was on there, but whatever. It is what it is. So I guess we just have to have Rhea and then SmackDowns and Raws and try to make that interesting, right? Whatever. Uh, so either SmackDown or I don't know what show she's on. I could care less what exactly show she's on because logically, I'm here for her when she's on the PLEs. Anyways, to the tag match, you can probably very much understand how interested I was in this tag match by me wanting to talk about other things. I immediately know who is going to win this matchup before the bell rang. I was like, oh, so that's who's winning. Okay, because these people need momentum. And logically, I'm just like, we have Reed that beat Roman in the last PLE. What do you think is going to happen in this one? So the biggest problem in this entire match is that Reed didn't steal anyone's boots or shoes or whatever. That I think was the biggest mistake. Also, we have LA Knight now has a special guest referee, and that to me was just like, God, man, this guy is just shelved into being a referee, and I'm trying to just be happy that he's getting a payday and he's on the freaking card. I'm happy for him, but and it's also interesting to have this special guest referee that is to go on and kind of look the other way or allow weapons to happen, and that ended up making this match more interesting. Uh, they mostly stuck to chairs. There was this vicious spot that frickin' Jay busted his head open, and that didn't look like it was one of those where it's like it was planned. Everybody, he cut open. No, that freaking chair spot. I think the chair freaking like maybe like when he hit Braun or when he hit Breaker, it freaking maybe like clapped back at him, and maybe that's what cut his head open. Like, I can't believe that Jay on purpose cut his own head open. That just seems weird to me. Um, but yeah, freaking Jay got cut in this match, and I was kind of concerned. I was like, hope he's okay. Cause yeah, freaking, why not care about Uso? Uh, Jay, the one with the shades that say the Yeet on it. The Yeet Man! The Yeet Man. Anyways, so we have weapons being in here, chairs, eventually there's a table, and like they end up doing these pin spots, and like that is such a waste of time because when they set up weapons in the match, they have to use them. There's a pinning predicament that happens while a chair is going on and or a chair is going on to have gotten set up or a table is to have gotten set up or whatever. And I'm like, well, obviously they're not going to end the match because the table is still there. So Braun ends up spearing both the Usos. I'm like, wow, that was a pretty decent spot. And we would go on to have some really interesting spots where we're thinking that like Braun is going to get the advantage over Jimmy, and then Jimmy goes and does this super kick or this just kick to Braun, and I'm like, wow, that was a cool spot. I there was some just fun spots in this matchup. I really did like it. When they kept teasing that Ray was almost going to hit LA Knight, or LA Knight was like, hey, were you gonna go on and hit me? And Jay was like, yeah, I was gonna hit you. Like, I don't care. Like, and then LA Knight was like, hey, I'm the freaking ref. Like, come on, give me some respect. And like, they just kind of kept teasing that Jay was gonna go on and almost hit LA Knight with the chair, and that, yeah. So you know what? If there is not a match between Jey Uso and LA Knight happening whatever the next night is, then we have gone on to waste this. because we need a we need an LA Knight match, because evidently LA Knight is not doing anything really on PALEs besides being a special guest referee at this point. But we have a storyline now that can deliver, giving a program to two guys. So why not go on and give that effing program? Uh, so spoilers, everybody. Shocker to anybody, or I mean, no one. The Vision wins here. I was like, by the way of which that the Usos walked out in their entrance, I could just be like, dude, they're freaking losing. Looking at them, I'm like, they're going to lose. And I just had this feeling that I'm like, yeah, the Vision, after beating Roman, is not going to turn around and lose the Usos. I'm sorry, it's not going to happen. So, yeah, they won this match. Shocker to no one. So, next matchup, let's go on and let's talk about the ladies. Both Io Sky and Stephanie Bakir. Uh, it really seems that Stephanie is getting a huge amount of momentum, but god dang was Io Sky just freaking fantastic in this goddamn match. I was just like, oh my god, Io, you are freaking wrestling circles around this woman. Like, god, like, if Io was to, in other matches, like, be forgotten by me, uh, because she was kind of put in, like, triple threats and all the kind. When looking at Io in this match, I'm like, god, she is to be so, presented here so effing well that I'm like, god dang. Whatever happens with Io, I hope she has success. Because she freaking deserves it, I feel. And this match showcases that wonderfully. Like, what does Stephanie even really do in this entire match? Not a lick of anything. Like, does Stephanie really have a move set? I question, because it doesn't show in here whatsoever. Like, at one point we'll go on and we'll see Stephanie do this cross body off the ropes, and that was impressive. But a lot of other times we're just kind of seeing her do these very common moves. And I'm like, I want to see some flash. I want to see some flair. We also ended up seeing Stephanie do that spiral. That was freaking amazing. But again, I'm like, she did nothing through this entire match. But she's the new hotness. She's the thing that everybody's like, oh my god, I just really like this wrestler. And I'm just like, when looking at this match, I don't get why. I really don't get it. Uh, I don't care if Booker T likes this wrestler and says that he's her favorite. Like, yeah, I could. The way she looks, great. But I'm looking at this match, I'm like, I think I should figure out the winner just based on what all transpires of how much offense a person is to go on and have in this whole entire match. But anyways, yeah, like, I would have loved to have said Io Sky uh, for this match because of how hard she worked. But Stephanie Valkyr is the new hotness, it seems. So, spoilers, everybody. Shocker to nobody. Stephanie Bakir wins. Like, of course she does. Because, yeah, she's to really have so much momentum uh, going with her. I like Stephanie. I went on and I watched her Chris Van Vliet interview, and like they go on and they do this whole interview, and I'm like, man, Stephanie's like English is really improved. Good for her. Like I'm so happy that also she had gone on to win this title for her father's birthday. Happy birthday, Stephanie's dad. Huzzah, huzzah. Um, that was that like you can't go on and write a better story there. And that's why Stephanie went to her father is like, hey, hold the belt. It's freaking she won it for his birthday. So that's why that happened. And great. Good story to be had there. Feel good moment. Uh, I still need to see a lot more of Stephanie. Uh, and I hope that I get a better showcasing of her because Io Sky freaking dominated this match. And like the two of them were in the ring together and they had this moment where they're kind of just both just very just uh like I want to see a freaking rematch of this. Run it back. Run it back. I would be happy to go on and see a rematch of this in the next PLE. I don't care. Triple threat it. Add somebody else into the mix. But regardless, run this freaking back. I want to see another one of these. So that way I can probably see more offense coming from Stephanie maybe next time around. But yeah, does Stephanie have a moveset? I don't know because I still haven't seen it yet. So we'll see. No offense to Stephanie, it's just how many moves does she do? How many moves did she do in this match? How many moves has she done in any number of these PLEs? It's the truth. So, but Stephanie wins, and it makes all the sense in the world. Even though I'd just be thinking like, man, Io Sky is too good in this match. I think she should have gotten the belt. But Stephanie wins it. It makes sense. It does. So, next match. So, let's obviously go on and let's cover the Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre match, even though that's the main event. It doesn't matter. But I think the AJ Lee Punk match should be safe for last between these two matches. So it doesn't matter which to cover. So for the Cody and Drew match, I liked the build up to this. And for all of you that are probably be Drew haters and don't think that he probably deserved getting a title shot like that, he freaking deserves it. He probably deserved it a while ago. Not today, but he freaking deserves this shot. And I knew that he was going to go on and make this rivalry pretty good. And like Drew goes on and does that one social media post where he's like, well, hey, Dwayne may have wanted Cody's soul, but I want his ass. And I thought that was hilarious. So we would go on to just be setting up that Drew is going to use the announcer table to try to do Cody in, and they eventually go to that spot and they tease it, and then they flip the switch, so to speak. So the Cody and Drew match, I think, was to be as interesting that it can possibly be. But like it was also to just kind of be similar to the Cena and Brock match. I wasn't expecting any massive surprises in this. I thought that this match just kind of just does what it needs to and then calls it a day. But yeah, so that spot where they kind of flip the script, instead of having Rhodes kind of go through the announcing table, we have Drew's foot that goes through the announcing table, and then they end up selling that his leg is hurt. And when Drew ends up going for the Claymore, yeah, that doesn't quite pan out. And so this match, as much as it probably isn't as interesting as the mixed tag, uh, I was to try as much as possible to get into this, even though I'm like, well, like I know the outcome before the bell rings. And so spoilers to everybody, shock to no one. Cody goes on and retains here. In all honesty, in my heart of hearts, I would have liked to have Drew have the title because I honestly want the title to get off of Cody at this point. Just because Cody has had the title for too long, and he's honestly not really doing anything with it, I feel. But that's just me. Like, Cody doesn't, like, I don't think Cody is doing anything with the title because Cody doesn't need the title. There are other people that I feel do need the title, and it's not Cody right now. But I get it. Cody just needs to be the face of the company, even though there's so many other faces. But whatever. So, sadly, Drew loses this one, and I was just going, that's too bad. Oh well. Like, hopefully Drew just keeps going on and keeps at least getting shots, and maybe at some point something will just work out. So, now that mixed tag match that I've kind of been dragging out to the very end of this, because of course I would. Oh, we also have to go on before we get out of here and talk about the Undertaker spot. And people are like, wait a minute, Undertaker did a thing? Yeah. For those of you that do not know, Undertaker went out in I guess, quasi street clothes and made his way to the ring and was the American bad ASS guy. He came out there with his butt and his motorcycle. I say butt because I just said American bad ASS, so I just said butt just to be funny. But whatever. So I'm freaking delirious at this point. Just give me a break. So Undertaker comes out to the ring and he stops, and Stephanie is at ringside and she's just kind of, yay, Undertaker is here. I know him. I was crucified by him once. Hey, guys. Isn't this fun? Undertaker, woo! And so, bizarrely, which just seems really just out of character, Undertaker goes on to uh, specifically go and have a mic and make his way to Stephanie. I'm like, ah. So there's a bit of revenge kind of happening here. Because, of course, we go on to have had both Shawn and both Undertaker go on and announce Triple H into the Hall of Fame. And then Triple H is just like, oh, well, since I'm to go into the Hall of Fame and Undertaker's already in the Hall of Fame, well, I'm going to go on and get back at The Undertaker by inducting Michelle McCool into the Hall of Fame. And I'm like, how way early also is it to do Hall of Fame things as well? Because we find out that Stephanie McMahon is going to be the entry of the following Hall of Fame already. Is that because of the VPN thing? They're just like, yeah, we definitely have to go on and give her the Hall of Fame thing because she talked about the VPNs. Man, that is to be the most comedic, hilarious thing. Maybe Stephanie did the whole VPN thing either out of spite or whatever. But yeah, they rewarded her. You can say that they rewarded her for that, the VPN thing, by giving her a Hall of Fame induction. Like, how does that make sense? How does that make sense? But I guess if you're Triple H's wife, then I guess like all is forgiven. But yeah, that just like, are they gonna go on and are they gonna induct Shane then? Because Shane freaking deserves it. Uh, doesn't also a certain other guy probably deserve it? That's the name McMahon. But anyways, I don't know. I think they're trying to figure out ways to just be like, yeah, there's still controversy around that name. But yeah, but regardless of the controversy, hey, we have Brock Lesnar back, and a lot of people aren't happy about that. Uh, so why not go on and double down by consistently showing shots of Vince McMahon consistently within WWE's programming, even though we were to try to not do that. I guess it really doesn't matter anymore now. Because there's not a seemingly at the second some conspiracies or scandals going on with Vince McMahon, I guess. So yeah. Anyways, so I'm happy that Stephanie is going into the Hall of Fame, but I think it's like really freaking early to state this. But I don't know. Maybe like WrestleMania is just around the corner and I don't even realize it. But yeah, like uh I guess it's better late than never for Stephanie. So good for her. I'm happy for her. Maybe she'll not go on and advertise VPNs on her on her channels or whatever that she does. Uh, because yeah, that was really funny. So going into this mixed tag now, so did anybody just think that this wasn't gonna not go the way it all we were to think it was? Because who is to be the person that is to return? AJ Lee. And they go on and they say, yeah, both Seth and Becky have not, when tagged together, to have lost a match yet. I'm to just be like, you have a returning AJ Lee after 10 years. Come on. I was, in all honesty, hoping that AJ Lee was not going to return because I honestly was going on and thinking that AJ Lee was going to be the one standout that she was never going to want to come back. And she had gone on to make these interviews specifically stating that she wasn't going to come back to do a mixed tag match or any of this bullshit. And she goes back just to do the same thing that she was saying that she was not going to want to do. So hopefully they bring her back and they actually give her something valuable for her to do. Other than just mixed tag matches and a bunch of bullshit. Because it was actually also interesting that Bailey was wearing AJ Lee's shirt. So that could be an interesting bit of tag team. That could be an interesting faction if they're gonna go that route. Um, Maybe AJ Lee could have a her own faction. I don't know what they would call it. Like I don't think Straight Edge Society is gonna end up being a name that they're gonna put into CM Punk AJ Lee faction. But hey, whatever fits. Um, but regardless, I would be happy if Bailey teams up with AJ Lee. That would be a good tag team. And then they would make a lot of sense for the two of them to win the tag titles because it honestly doesn't quite make sense for both Bliss and Charlotte to have them right now. Just because Bliss is still the Fiend, and or the the, the Bray Wyatt gimmick, and Charlotte is to go on and be Charlotte. Uh, she'll probably go on and win 30 other women's world titles after she goes on to lose the tag team championships. Plus, also, I'm sure Charlotte needs to go on and win every single title so that way she can have a what is it uh, like the person that kind of wins all the titles, whatever that title is to be. I don't know exactly what it was called. Um, Yeah, one of those guys, one of those people, one of those women. But anyways, so let's get into this tag team match. This match was so effing fun, but you weren't expecting AJ Lee to do much of anything, or that you had to wait for AJ Lee to be in this match, and so that was a huge disappointment. But you were kind of expecting it to happen, but still, you're just like, really? I have to wait for this bullshit. So CM Punk and Seth get into the ring. They duke it out. And then we go on to have. No, wait. What ends up happening is we first off have Becky come into the ring and be like, oh, well, I'm starting. And then it's like, okay, AJ, come in. And then immediately Becky and AJ does this runaround. And then Becky tags in Seth, and then it's like, okay, here's where we're gonna really have both Punk and Seth wrestle, and then AJ is gonna go on and eventually just come in towards the later half of this. And then when AJ Lee does go on and does come in, she does a lot of Lou Fez presses. She goes on and does like what Stone Cold used to do, where like I guess this is her move now, where she goes on and like it's been a really long time since seeing any AJ Lee match for me specifically. So I'm kind of just very out of sorts of AJ Lee's move set. So like it's been a while. So AJ goes on and does quite a bit of so many Lou Fez presses and just starts punching away at Becky. Like and the way in which these like she's been away for a decade, even though she did the show Heels. Come on, like that was to probably be just a drop in the bucket of wrestling again. But so AJ Lee goes on uh to come back, and she when coming back is to do just a number of moves with Punk, and we had at certain points where they kept like just teasing back and forth that these people were going to go on and do these double finishers, and that they were going to do double finishers on the uh, announce tables. We have at one point where uh, uh, we have a drop where AJ and Seth and Punk kind of get just kind of has one table that kind of claps on them, and then Punk and Seth are kind of out of the rest of the match, and so Becky and AJ just kind of have to finish the match up because really we have to go on and start to see AJ starting to do this widow's peak thing, this Widowmaker movie, the Widowmaker, whatever, Widow's Peak weird goofy submission thing that looked like the octopus. But anyways, so the octopus submission. If you guys don't know what that is, then I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. Or is it the octopus submission or the octopus slam? It's been a while. Anyways, so or even the abdominal stretch to some people. I don't know. Anyways, so there is a lot of fun things going on here. They mixed it up quite a bit. AJ Lee goes on and does her submission, all while CM Punk goes on to do his sharpshooter, and they go on and they mix it up quite a bit between Punk and Becky, and they did the blowing the kiss thing, and then he does the tag. So a lot of that was all pretty fun. A lot of it was all well and good. I really did like it. Uh, it was to be obviously one of the more standout matches out of everything. And it was really nice to see AJ Lee returning. And of course, CM Punk on his entrance had on his jacket where it says AJ Lee's husband or AJ's husband. And it's funny, there are some times when Punk would go on and say that uh that he's like CM Punk Mendez or whatever. Like he goes on and he takes her name and whatever. And that's kind of funny. I like those interviews where he goes on and just kind of does that because it's just all in fun. And he's happy to go on and be AJ Lee's freaking husband and whatever. Um, but anyways, yeah. So all that's a bit of fun, a bit of jest, and spoilers, everybody. AJ Lee and Punk wins because of course they freaking do. Uh, we finally had too many effing times now where Seth has beat Punk that now we just need uh, finally Punk and now with AJ Lee to freaking win matches. Uh, I think at some point there's a video going around where they showed how Punk has been having like the worst year ever. And that was just like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Like he was either cashed in on or like he just kept losing a lot of matches. So yeah, like really showing how Punk has gone on to not have the best year ever, but maybe it's gonna end up being uh, the best. Maybe not summer of Punk, but maybe the fall of Punk. Who knows? Because now he's with AJ Lee, and maybe things are gonna go well. Who knows? But regardless, it was fun to see uh, the embrace of both Punk and AJ Lee in the ring. They kiss and they won. Hopefully, this goes on and gives them individual title shots because that would make a lot of sense. Please don't go on and then do a tag match where the titles are on the line. I don't like that bullshit. That's stupid. Just go on and just give them individual title shots and then have it just all kind of either have one win, one lose, whatever. Either way, um, regardless, it's going to be fun to watch this anyways. It'll end up being must see TV. I think if you also did it on a Raw or SmackDown instead of just a PLE, where you go on to have like AJ Lee win the Intercontinental title against Becky, That could be a lot of fun, and then maybe you will probably just revisit the whole mixed tag thing again because of how successful it was. Probably, I'm sure. Uh, that's gonna be so stupid, but F it, man. Uh, but it was also like there was an interview that also made the rounds, where CM Punk was going on and talking side by side, with Big E, and like Big E, of course, had worked alongside uh, AG Lee, doing mixed tags and whatever. And Big E was just so happy that AG Lee was coming back. And so there was an interview, uh, where CM Punk was talking about how great it was that like Big E is now this ambassador, and like and Big E was kind of talking about how he was just kind of happy that AJ Lee's back, blah 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 blah. Yeah, this kind of back and forth. I'm sure there's a video out there. You can probably check it out somewhere where they're talking about this because I had gone on and seen it myself. Uh, but yeah, so excuse me. With that said, I feel like I'm gonna push to get out of here so I can just upload this. 46 minutes, man. I didn't think I was gonna be able to talk for that long, but F it, I'm gonna get out of here because I'm crispy. I'm extra crispy, everybody. So thank you for watching this. I tried to just rush this out as much as humanly possible. So my overall grading of this PLE, I'll have to go on and say that Wrestlepalooza. I'll give it a good. I'll say that it's good. Like I want to say that it's a very mid PLE, but that just like there's there's so many matches I found to be so interesting. So at least I'll give it a good. Like I couldn't be bothered to say that this PLE is great. Like no, like good I think is just good enough. It's a thumbs up review. It really is. Compared to Clash in Paris, I was like, this is the worst PLE I've seen all year. So yeah, like so WrestlePalooza could just be good. Um, because I definitely would go on and want not to grade a PLE way too freaking high. Uh, because I'm very much just like, hey man, this is just good enough. So that's good enough for me and get the heck out of here. Thank you for going on and listening and watching this. Because at the end of the day, I will probably go out of my way to just take a few days off because I'm uh, so thank you I appreciate it. I really do. I'm not just saying it to say it, even though I probably said it a billion times. Um, I hope to go on and come back as soon as I can. Uh, After I go on and better plan things out of how I'm going to execute videos and how I'm going to go on and execute my workouts. Uh, yeah. Um, so I hope to come up with a better way of planning things out than what I've been doing. Or really also just getting to a point where like I don't freaking burn myself the way I do. So thank you. Bye everybody. Bye everybody.